Currently, I'm between $25,000 and $30,000 in debt, and that's even before the end of my senior year. So that, in addition to the cost of medical school, is pretty profound and will have a significant impact on my ability to provide for myself and my son while continuing my education.
I will put up with the debt though, because I want to do more with my life than be miserable like I watched my parents be.
I'm looking for about $30,000 in debt.
I just found out that next year I will only get $2,000 in loans, which is not enough to pay for tuition. That's because I will hit the cap of $31,000 in debt. So I still have one more year, so that's why my dream of going to medical school is kind of iffy, because I don't know if I could even afford it.
I keep going through life knowing that I'm going to get somewhere. It's my dream to go to law school and either become a civil rights attorney or an immigration attorney to help people be able to stay in this country and have their rights respected.
Tuition has done nothing but increase over the generations. It means more for my little sisters and brothers and my future kids, that what tuitions they're going to have to pay, and how are we going to be able to support them when we should have a system that supports higher education, and it doesn't.
My name is Tiffany Rapier, and I'm majoring in cell and molecular biology, pre-med studies, and I've been here for 3 years now. I'm a non-traditional student. I'm 30 years old. I'm a single parent to a 10-year-old, so financial aid is pretty important to me. I have to work and max out all available financial aid. Normally that means grants and loans. However, I recently learned that grants have been stopped. I've reached the limit with the new regulations on those. So now I'm completely dependent on student loans to fill that void. The interest rate is pretty significant as well. In terms of the big picture to the country, it doesn't look like a few percents there would be a big deal, but to a single parent that's incurring the debt undergrad prior to pursuing her goal of medical school, that's a pretty significant thing to bear before the additional cost of medical school.
My name is Taylor McElroy, and I'm a criminal justice and communication studies double major, and I've been here for 2 years. So I come from a family where my dad was the sole provider. My mom was disabled, and when she died, he became the sole provider. There was no more money coming from her side. And we have a really big house payment because of having to refinance so much. And the FAFSA doesn't account for our debt, our previous debt. So I'm not eligible for any grants, and I'm only eligible for loans. So far, I've accumulated around $25,000 in debt through Parent Plus loans and subsidized loans that I've taken out myself. And I have to live with that every day, in addition to working 3 jobs to live in the city, and taking at least 12 units and up to 18 units.
My name is Maria Cha. I'm studying international relations, and I am a junior and hopefully graduating next year. What debt means to me is that it's a bump in the road for me to achieve my goals of using my international relations degree. But this bump will ultimately decide what I'm going to do after I graduate. Because of the declining job market, there isn't that security knowing that even with a bachelor's degree, you're going to get a job. And knowing that you're going to have to pursue higher education, and you're going to put yourself into even more debt. So there's this complex of debt and getting a job and using your degree in that job. So for me, having subsidized loans increased, like that just means that there's going to be more debt that I'm going to have to pay. And so using my degree that I'm pursuing now, what does that mean? Like there's no security in that.
My name's London Johnson, and this is my 4th year. I'm studying cell and molecular biology. My main goal is to go to medical school, but that might change. So it's been my dream since I was little. I've always wanted to be a pediatrician, so yeah. My mom keeps reminding me of my dream.
My name is Christopher Fernandez. I am 20 years old. I'm a sophomore, and I'm a business and finance major. I rely heavily on financial aid, and the fact that after we graduate, student debt is primarily one of the first things that hits us outside of college. It's the contract that we basically sign our life to, and primarily it's like a ball and chain.
My name is Katrina Knickerbocker. I've been in school off and on since 2000 because I'm a reentry student. I'm a special major, and the title of the major is Societal Impact on Adolescent Behavior and Development, and the departments are Sociology and Communications, Counseling, and Consumer and Family Studies. Well, aside from the fact that I take as much student aid as I'm offered each semester, it still doesn't cover my estimated cost of attendance. My mom spent her inheritance paying for me to get through college this far, and it's gone now, and that was supposed to be for her and my dad's retirement, and they don't have that anymore. And I don't know if I'll be able to finish school. Like every semester, I don't know if I'm coming back, and hopefully it'll work out, and I think that I'm in the place where I'm meant to be with my life, and that I'm doing what I'm meant to do with my life, and so it'll happen somehow, but not knowing is so hard.
What keeps you going?
My son. My son and the desire to help others. Financially, it's challenging, but I hope that at some point, like with many other things in life, I have found a way, by hook or by crook, as my grandma would say, that there's going to be a way. You just keep your nose to the grindstone, and eventually something will turn up. So
My grandma, she was really a big motivator in my life. She always told me that I could be somebody and that I can get there.
Being the first in my family to graduate would be really nice.